Hello and welcome back to Everyday Empowerment English, the podcast where we help you grow your English skills and communicate with confidence. I'm Mia.
And I'm Alex. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to learn English so effortlessly while others struggle for years?
The secret isn't talent, it's habits. Today we're diving into 7 habits used by highly successful English learners to improve faster and gain confidence.
If you've been feeling stuck in your English learning journey or unsure how to make progress, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Let's talk about the first habit that sets effective English learners apart. It's all about being consistent.
That's right. Highly effective learners don't rely on cramming or occasional bursts of study. They build a habit of practicing every day.
Learning English is like exercising. You won't build strength by hitting the gym once a month for 5 hours, but you will see results if you practice a little bit every day.
Exactly. Regular exposure helps your brain retain information better.
Instead of long, overwhelming study sessions, focus on short but regular practice. Even 10 to 15 minutes daily makes a big difference.
What are some easy ways our listeners can start these short daily practices?
You could listen to an English podcast while commuting.
Or read a short news article daily.
Even writing a sentence or two in a journal helps.
The key is consistency. If you show up every day, even in small ways, your progress will be steady and long-lasting.
Habit 2 is all about changing how you think. Highly effective English learners don't just study the language, they train their brains to think in English as much as possible.
But when you think in English, you don't have to translate from your native language. It makes speaking and understanding English much faster and more natural.
And the best part, you don't need anyone else to practice this. Start with small steps. For example, when you're walking outside, think, what's the weather like today? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy?
Or if you're making coffee, think, what am I doing right now? I'm pouring water. I'm pouring hot water. I'm stirring in some sugar. God.
The key is to make English part of your daily thoughts. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
And if you forget a word, instead of switching to your native language, try describing it in English using other words you know. Like if you forget the word fridge, you can think it's cold and it keeps food fresh.
Exactly. The more you train your brain to think in English, the easier it will be to speak without hesitation.
And the next habit is important speaking. It's one of the biggest challenges for learners, but it's also the fastest way to improve.
Highly effective learners speak as much as possible, even when they're not feeling 100% confident.
Exactly. Many learners wait until they feel completely ready to speak, but the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready. You just have to start speaking now.
And it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of learning. The key is to practice deliberately.
Absolutely. Mistakes are just learning opportunities. So how can we start practicing speaking more often?
One simple way is to speak out loud even when you're alone. For example, try describing your day in English as you go about it.
Or you can use the shadowing technique. Repeat sentences or phrases immediately after you hear a native speaker say them.
And if possible, find a language partner or tutor. Whether online or in your community, even short, real conversations can make a huge difference.
The more you put yourself out there and speak, even if it feels a little awkward at first, the more natural it will feel over time.
Learning from textbooks is great, but to truly think in English, you need real-world exposure.
I totally agree. To really start thinking and feeling in English, you need to use English in practical, everyday situations.
Successful learners bring English into their daily lives as much as possible.
So what are some easy ways our listeners can start doing that?
The one simple change is to set your phone settings to English. You'd be surprised how much vocabulary you pick up just from navigating your phone.
That's a great tip. And another simple way is to try reading social media posts and comments in English. Even if you don't understand everything at first, you'll start to recognize words and phrases.
And if you have the opportunity, even if it feels a little scary, try to use English in real situations like ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions.
You can even make small changes in your personal life, like writing your to-do lists or jotting down thoughts in your journal in English.
Well, when you start using English in real life, it stops feeling like just something you study. It becomes a natural and meaningful part of your day.
And because it's relevant to your life, you're much more likely to remember what you've learned.
A big part of learning is asking questions and staying curious. Have you ever noticed how the most successful learners are always asking why?
That's right. Highly effective learners don't just memorize words, they ask questions and really seek to understand.
Asking questions helps you engage more deeply with the language.
So, what are some ways our listeners can start developing this habit of asking questions?
A great start is whenever you hear a new phrase or word, ask yourself, what does it mean? When is it used?
That's a great tip. And if you ever get confused by a grammar rule, take the initiative to look it up. Don't just move on.
Another interesting part of curiosity is exploring the culture behind the language. For example, why do English speakers say, how's it going? Instead of just, hello.
Definitely. And when you're having conversations in English, try to actively engage by asking follow-up questions. This not only keeps the conversation going, but also helps you learn more naturally.
The more curious you are, the more you'll engage with English and learn faster.
But learning English shouldn't feel like a chore. If you're bored, it's hard to stay motivated.
So make it fun. Successful English learners intentionally make their learning process enjoyable, which helps them stay engaged and motivated long term.
Choose activities that you genuinely enjoy. For example, if you love movies and TV shows, watch them in English.
Well, that's a great idea. And if you're into reading, find books or blogs in English about topics that truly interest you.
You can also try English language games or online quizzes. There are so many fun ways to learn.
And learning with others can make it much more enjoyable too. Finding online communities or a study group to learn English together can be really motivating and fun.
The more you enjoy the process, the more likely you are to stick with it.
And when you're engaged and having fun, you'll often find yourself improving even faster.
Our final habit is about learning efficiently, not just studying hard, but studying smart.
The most successful learners don't just put in the hours, they work smart by adjusting their approach.
The reflection is key here. Taking a step back helps you see what's working, what's not, and where you might need to switch things up.
Yes, effective learners reflect on their progress and adjust their approach when needed.
So start by asking yourself, what study methods are helping me the most, and where am I still struggling?
And be flexible. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to try a different approach. There are so many ways to learn.
So track your progress in a way that keeps you motivated. Maybe you keep a list of new vocabulary or notice that you understand more of your favorite TV show. Celebrate those small wins.
And most importantly, be patient with yourself. Learning isn't a straight path. It's okay if your journey changes and evolves over time.
Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. Reflecting and adapting will keep you moving forward. Before we wrap up, let's go over some useful words and phrases from today's episode to help you remember them.
Consistency means regularity in doing something over time. Example, consistency is key when learning a language. Practicing a little every day leads to real progress.
Cramming means studying intensely for a short period, often before a test. Example, instead of cramming the night before, try studying a little every day.
Occasional means happening or done sometimes, but not often. Example, they don't rely on occasional bursts of study.
Retain means to keep or remember something. Example, regular exposure helps your brain retain information better.
Exposure means the experience of being introduced to or surrounded by something. Example, daily exposure to English through TV shows, music, or conversations helps you learn naturally.
Translate means to convert words from one language to another. Example, try to think in English instead of translating from your native language.
Hesitation means a pause due to uncertainty or nervousness. Example, the more you practice speaking, the less hesitation you'll feel in conversations.
Shadowing means a language learning technique where you repeat what a native speaker says right after hearing it. Example, shadowing English podcasts can help improve your pronunciation and fluency.
Immerse means to deeply involve yourself in an activity or environment. Example, immerse yourself in English by changing your phone settings to English.
So navigate means to find your way through something like a place or system. For example, learning key phrases can help you navigate conversations with native English speakers.
A follow-up question means a question that continues a conversation by asking for more details. The example, asking follow-up questions in English makes conversations more natural and engaging.
But jotting down means writing something quickly and informally. Example, like writing your to-do lists or jotting down thoughts in your journal in English.
Switch things up means to change something. Example, if you're not enjoying the book you're reading, you can always switch things up and choose a different one.
A sprint means a short, fast run. Here, it's contrasted with a marathon to show that learning English takes time. Example, learning English is a marathon, not a sprint.
Stick with means to continue doing something even if it is difficult. Example, the more likely you are to stick with it when you find enjoyable ways to learn.
So those are 7 habits that can transform your English learning journey.
Which of these habits do you already practice, and which one do you want to work on next? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend who's also learning English.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.